Before starting this video, I request you all to please like and subscribe as it really motivates me a lot.
In the woods near the manor, someone walking slowly remarks that she has finally arrived and that he saw her signal of success. He says that he thought she would come out quickly and asks why she is so slow. The monster apologizes to his master. The master then asks how he got so badly injured and wonders if the butler has returned, mentioning that he specifically sent him away during the day. The monster explains that it is not the butler's doing. He says that he was struck by lightning, more precisely, that a lightning-struck branch tripped him and he fell into the river. He adds that after getting ashore, he had to escape from a wolf that chased him for 2 miles. Meanwhile, Luo quietly thinks to herself that the monster is kind of cute. The master, however, struggles to process the situation. Luo reflects that she must be extremely lucky and believes that those who try to harm her will face divine punishment. The master notices that she seems to be smiling and asks if her lips just curled up. The monster insists that it is impossible and reminds him that he used a powerful sedative. The master looks at the unconscious girl and approaches her, thinking to himself that she should not be afraid because it is only a game and nothing more. He then bends down and says that they should take her safely to the doctor, suggesting that perhaps the key to finding the hidden treasure might be somewhere on her. Luo secretly thinks that it was a close call, but that, thankfully, she is safe now. Suddenly, the man grabs her mouth and begins smiling coldly. He orders the monster to open her body and search it thoroughly, while also threatening her father to reveal where the treasure is hidden. Unable to keep up the act any longer, Luo starts screaming. She strikes him with her elbow and runs away. The man, shocked, curses angrily. As she runs, Luo thinks in terror that the people here are terrifying. She tries to calm herself by repeating that it is only a game. She reminds herself that even if she gets injured or dies, she can simply start over and that it should not matter. The monster soon catches up and warns her that she cannot escape. Just as he is about to grab her, she misses a step and trips, falling down the cliff. Fortunately, she lands on a bush below. The man orders the monster to bring her back, and the monster agrees. The man then reflects that the forest near the manor is extremely spooky. He notes that once the fog sets in, anyone can easily lose their way, and he decides that he should leave quickly because if they delay any longer, something bad will surely happen. As he turns around to leave, he smugly remarks that the butler was not as smart as he thought. He boasts that although many people tried to capture the young miss, he managed to do it easily. He remains completely unaware that death is sitting right behind him. He continues speaking proudly, saying that one should enjoy the hunting game to the fullest and that, as a hunter, he only needs to wait behind the snare for the prey to take the bait. At that moment, the butler silently brings a knife to his neck and calmly says that he will escort his guest. The man turns in shock, but before he can say anything, a sudden strike ends his life. The butler quietly reflects that there is still work left to do. He drops the body and prepares to leave. He says softly that he will come to save the young miss soon, but before that she should be a little more frightened. Meanwhile, Luo realizes that she has not yet been discovered. She looks down at her bleeding foot and cries out in pain. She tries to convince herself again that it is only a game, yet she realizes that it truly hurts. She laments that she has never experienced such injustice in the real world and admits that she was wrong to believe that she could not die. She blames everything on him. Suddenly she notices something shocking: it is snowing. She becomes worried that the fog is growing denser and decides she must leave quickly. She admits that she cannot remember when she became so afraid of being lost in the darkness. As she moves forward, the fog thickens even more. She says that she cannot find the path at all. The terrifying darkness makes it hard for her to breathe, and her heart begins pounding wildly. She wonders whether it is fear or genuine sorrow that makes tears fall from her eyes, but she can no longer tell the difference. She begins crying and calls out to Muhan, asking why he suddenly disappeared and then appeared in the script only to ignore her. She wonders if he truly is not Muhan. At that moment, something begins to glow. She finally notices a lantern and realizes that it was his. Then she becomes suspicious and thinks that the real danger she is facing is like sweet preserves suddenly appearing in the forest, clearly a trap meant to lure prey. She approaches the lantern anyway, while the butler watches her silently from the cliff. She thinks that such bait might attract hungry rabbits, but it will actually attract wolves ready to hunt those rabbits. Suddenly, the lantern shatters as someone strikes it with a stick. The monster reveals himself and says that he knew she would run toward the light source. Because she is badly injured, she collapses to the ground. She thinks despairingly that even as an adult, she cannot confront the villain head-on. Trembling, she realizes that she has no choice but to step into this trap. Crying, she clasps her hands and begs for help. She calls desperately for the butler. The butler watches her from afar, smiling faintly as his eyes remain fixed solely on her. The monster slaps her and orders her to shut up, warning her never to mention that man again because no one will come to save her. In the darkness, the butler's eyes begin to glow. Suddenly, Luo crashes against a rock and loses consciousness. Memories flash before her eyes. In one memory, she calls out to her father. As the monster prepares to attack, she closes her eyes in exhaustion, unable to resist. Another memory appears, this time of her beloved Muhan. She calls out his name. Suddenly, blood splatters. The butler appears. He kneels beside her, gently holding her face and telling her that she is a good girl and should not look. Wrapping his cape around her, he apologizes softly for arriving late. He lifts her into his arms and smiles slightly. Curious, he asks who the person she called earlier was and whether he is someone important to her. Through tears, she answers that it is someone she has been searching for a long time but could never find. After a moment, she smiles faintly and adds that perhaps he is only someone from her dreams. She asks the butler to take her home. Then she falls asleep in his arms. The butler silently observes her while holding her tightly. He remembers the first time they met, when she once reached out her hand and told someone to come back with her because they were still alive. He recalls that it was the first and last time he had ever been so close to the young lady. In that instant, he remembers how a fierce possessiveness began to grow inside him, so powerful that it overshadowed even the hatred he held toward the southern people who carried out the massacre. Returning to the present, he watches her sleeping and gently takes her hand. He tells her that he is glad to cross paths with her again. He admits that at first he only planned to observe her from afar until his desire faded, after which he intended to kill her because the treasure taken by the southern people is important to him. He says that he would never allow anyone to harm her until he finds the treasure. But now he confesses that his desire has grown again. He explains that he originally intended to make her suffer and cry so that she would depend on him more and more. Yet, seeing her hurt now makes it difficult for him to endure. Leaning close to her ear, he whispers that the only person allowed to hurt her is him, and only him. He tells her that this time she must bear the consequences of bringing him home. He touches her forehead gently and prepares to leave. However, Luo has heard everything. In her mind, she reacts in shock, thinking that he is truly a yandere, just like the characters in the stories she reads. The butler simply smiles. The next morning, the annoying boy arrives. He thinks that he heard the unruly young miss was almost kidnapped and believes she brought it upon herself. Still, he decides that as her fiance it is his duty to fulfill the family's mission, even if it is only for show, so he should go and comfort her. He opens the door and tells her that he heard about the kidnapping and asks her to receive his gift with gratitude. She immediately rejects him, saying there is no need. She throws the gift down and slams the door. The prince becomes furious. Inside the room, Luo complains that running into that guy first thing in the morning completely ruins her mood. She says that she has no interest in becoming engaged to a man who is already entangled with the illegitimate male lead. She remembers the dream's warning that in order to leave the game before Act 3, she must win the butler's heart. She becomes determined. However, she also remembers that he is a yandere and wonders what she should do. Based on all the novels she has read, she concludes that there is only one possible strategy: run away. Outside, The annoying fiance bangs on the door and claims that he understands the situation. He says she must have made a mess and now feels too embarrassed to face him. He assures her that it is fine because he is not interested in her either. Inside, she wonders why this idiot is still there. He continues talking and announces that he already has a dance partner for the school ball, telling her to stop pestering her father to choose her. She is stunned and blurts out in disbelief that there is a school here. She wonders in shock whether she really has to go to school even in this world. The Southern Noble School was said to hold a dance every year, and the most popular group at the dance would be rewarded by the principal. During the young master's proud introduction, she gradually gained a general understanding of the school's situation. Both the young master and she were students of the Southern Noble School. They were on vacation at that time, and the young master was temporarily staying at her house during the vacation. She also came to know that she was in the school's first-year class, while the young master was in the senior year. What she had not expected, however, was that the butler was also in the senior class. She doubtedly thought that perhaps it was arranged for the master's convenience so that he could take care of her. In addition, the legendary true heroine, as he explained dramatically, was also in the same grade as her. With the support of the young master, he had chosen that girl for the dance. She replied annoyingly that his aristocratic school seemed extremely casual. She questioned how anyone could simply attend it. While saying this, she slammed the door open and responded negatively, stating that she had no interest in school or anything like that. The young master groaned in pain because the door had been slammed right into his face. She then glanced to the right and left, looking for something. A maid asked her whether she was finally going out and suggested that she should wash up first. Another maid exclaimed happily that it was wonderful that the lady had regained her energy so quickly. In her mind, she wondered why the 80 maids who usually washed her every day had not appeared. But as she had expected, they were all waiting for her outside her room. She asked one of the maids where the butler was. The maid replied that he had been asked to draw a portrait of the kidnapper. She then ordered the maids to tell him that he should prepare a midnight snack and bring it to her room. After saying this, she closed the door. Immediately, all the maids began banging on her door and begged her not to close it again. The young master, stunned as he watched all of this, questioned in his mind how she could be his fiancée even though he did not like her at all. He grew furious, thinking that she was doing such things behind the scenes late at night. Yet he kept assuring himself that she was his fiancée. Later that night, she stood by her window and looked outside. She reasoned that if her guess was correct, it was night, and in the script the lady never went out at night. Therefore, there was no role for her during the night, which meant she was not restricted by the script at that time. She thought that she should take this opportunity to quickly capture Guan Hao, the butler. She believed that the best way to deal with a yandere was simply to give him enough sense of security. After thinking this, she sat down on the couch in her room. She picked up a rose and suddenly exclaimed that she had finally figured it out. She thought that she simply needed to let him know that she liked him the most. She then began practicing how she would confess to him. She imagined herself saying that from the first time she saw him, she had already decided that she would stay with him for the rest of her life. She also imagined explaining that she had been too shy to get close to him all these years. She even dramatically rehearsed saying that she would convince her father to break off the engagement, and if that did not work, they could elope in the future. Suddenly, she jumped up from the couch in annoyance, threw the rose harshly, and shouted about what nonsense she had been doing. She angrily questioned what a rose had even been doing in her hand. She blamed herself, thinking that she had clearly been brainwashed by that playboy young master. She then sat back down on the couch and reasoned that since the housekeeper liked the lady in the script, she would have to play the role properly. After saying this, she lay down on the couch and thought that if the butler ever discovered that she was someone else, she might be killed. She reflected that it was obviously the same face, yet she was not his lady. It was the same face, but somehow he was not him. Her thoughts then drifted toward Muhan, and she began tossing and turning on the couch. After some time, she suddenly sat up and wondered why the butler had not come yet. She walked toward the door but hesitated to open it. She thought that it was very dark outside and did not dare to go out to look for him. Meanwhile, in the hallway, the butler was seen bringing snacks to her room. However, his tray was suddenly blocked by someone. It was the young master, standing there in his pajamas. He asked the butler whether he could prepare supper for him as well, explaining that he had suddenly become hungry. He then ordered the butler to bring the food to his room. The butler gave a faint smile, but his behavior seemed suspicious. And to discover why he was acting suspiciously, the rest of the chapter would continue in the next episode on the channel.